Hello and welcome to Go Download It, the show where we talk about the latest and greatest apps. Today we are joined by Daniel and Margarita. Roll the titles. Okay, Daniel, we'll start with you. What have you got for us today?
Right, my first game is called Around the World in 80 Days. It's based on the Jules Verne novel that we all know and love and may have seen the Jackie Chan movie of
Course.
which you may enjoy or not, depending on how sane you are. But first up, it's an adventure game. So, it's got all the kind of normal adventure elements that you'd expect, really sort of vast narrative that runs throughout the whole thing. But basically, the premise of the game is you play Passport 2, who is the main guy. I always forget his name. The main guy, we'll just call him that. He's his assistant.
That's a good name for him.
Guy one.
The main guy.
You can go and read the book. Anyway, so you play his assistant, and you, as the assistant, kind of decide on the route you're going to take around the world. And therefore, you decide how the story and the narrative plays out, and you decide on all the sort of items you collect and stuff. So you start in London, and then you have to kind of do some exploration around the city and talk to people and find out things, so you can find out different routes you can take. And you basically create your own path across the world. You can even, later on in the game when you've finished, or not even when you finish, when you're in the middle of your journey, if you've got friends who play, you can check your route against theirs, so you can see what kind of route they took. And there's lots of other bits of information you can get as well, like there's items that you can buy and sell as you go throughout the various different cities. And some items may have a higher value in a certain city, so you might buy something somewhere thinking, oh, this is pointless. But then later on down the line, you find out, oh, wow, I can get like $3,000 for this. So, and it's all about kind of inventory management and pushing the story forward. And it's really, really well written as well, which I think is really awesome for this kind of game, because the narrative, you kind of decide how it goes in a way, not in like a major way, but you get to find out more or less about certain characters and certain people within the story, depending on how you play. And you can decide sort of when you're on a journey, you can decide, do I want to talk to the driver, or do I want to go off and explore, the ship I'm on, or whatever. So there's a lot of different things you can do in it as well. And the whole thing is, it's got a really nice design to it, because it's all set in that kind of steampunky type environment. So you've got all the steam and cogs and all that kind of stuff. It's really well represented in the visuals of it. And it's also in the characterization as well, because there's things like robot drivers that you'll meet. They're like these android things that you wouldn't know the difference unless they told you, yeah, I'm a robot. But yeah, it's not a free game. It's $2.99, but it is really very much worth the cost of it, because it's something that you can play again and again and again, and try out different routes and find out things that you didn't know about before, and match it up against your friends and try and get a faster or better route, or end up with more money, or you can really play it the way you want to play it. So there's a lot that you can do with it. It's for iOS and Android. Again, $2.99 by Inkle Studios, who made another game, I don't know if either of you have heard of it, called Sorcery, which is in a similar kind of vein, but it's like an RPG adventure type thing that's really heavily narrative based, and the kind of, Lord of the Rings type, knights and magic and all that sort of stuff. So.
How long would it roughly take to complete the game?
It's always difficult to say with mobile games, I find, because it depends on what kind of a player you are. If you were to sit down and solidly play it, you could probably do the whole thing in sort of 2 or 3 hours if you wanted to. Yeah, it's a decent sized game, but then you can extend it even further than that, where, if you are just sort of playing it on the train and do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, it can take you a long time to get through it, or a short time, depending on... it's $2.99, Inkle Studios. Really, really good game. Very much worth the money.
Cool. Thank you, Dan. So, Margarita, what's your first game today?
Okay, my first game is called Game Dev Story. And it's basically, you are an aspiring game developer, and you set up your own company. You can name it whatever you want, even profanities if that's how you feel.
Awesome.
If you're inclined to that way,
That suits me right down to the ground, so... Arsewater Games.
That's quite catchy.
See?
I like that.
This is an Arsewater game production.
Yeah. See, right off the tongue, just rolls off the tongue.
But yeah, and you have to... Moving on, you have to hire people to go in your company, so you go to the hire list, you see all the people available, you see, I like this person, hire them. You have to hire sound designers, game designers, developers, everything you need to make a game. And at first you have a really small office, And you start developing for a smaller platform like PC. I'm not saying PC is a small platform, just saying.
How dare you?
I enjoy PC, but I mean, like, in the game, it's like one that's always there and it's always the cheapest to develop on, so that's a good place to start.
Okay.
And you have to try and release, like, games that people are going to like. So it says, like, what the popularity is when you're making the game. So you can make, like, a pirate puzzle game or, like, a robot adventure game or something like that.
So you select, like,
you
your
select
own...
a genre. So it's, like, adventure, puzzle, all that kind of stuff, RPG.
Okay.
And then, like, what it's kind of about. So there's pirates, robots, animals, all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah. Just random stuff like that. And then you eventually go into developing the game. So all your workers are working on it and making bugs.
Making bugs.
Making bugs.
That's
and
what they
there's
do,
a big debugging process at the end. And then, sometimes they can come up to you and say, oh, I want to work on this and make this better. And you have to decide whether that's good or not.
So you've got, like, specialists.
Yeah. So sometimes the sound designer will come up to you and say, I want to improve the graphics. They're just like, no.
That's not your job.
But sometimes, like,
You don't have the money.
yeah. But as you're making more games, you get things called research points.
Okay.
So you can spend your research points to up the chances of that being successful. So it's just, you basically decide what you do. You have to become a bigger and better game development company. You're selling huge games everywhere. But it's difficult. It is difficult to do. Because it's quite accurate to what a real gaming company would be like.
Right.
Because if you think, as soon as I get enough money to buy the contract to develop on this console, a new one comes out and you're like, oh my god,
I've only just bought this contract.
I know. That's exactly what it's like. And all of the consoles that come out are kind of, you can tell what they're supposed to be like.
So they don't use they don't use the real names. It's just Virtual Kid. I like that one.
T-Box or
something like that.
All sorts of things like that. And you can go to conventions and advertise yourself.
Cool.
Stuff like that. Yeah, it's really fun, but it's hard to, unless you release an amazing game straight away, it's quite hard to catch up to the other companies out there.
So are there certain, like, combinations of things that are more guaranteed to get you?
Yeah, there's some combinations that are really good. Like, I found Pirate Adventure was a particularly good one.
Monkey Island.
Yeah. But then if you do a certain genre too often, people get bored of it.
Okay.
So you have to you're forced to mix it up a bit.
I like that.
Well, there's some numpties still buying that.
Well, yeah.
I won't elaborate, but
all 100 million of you, or whatever it is.
But there is, apart from the difficulty, there is one hitch. There is a light version.
A light version. I like the way you put that in quote.
That's with concern.
Light
version, but it should be renamed demo version. This is why, because I originally wasn't too sure about this game. When I saw it, I thought, do I want to pay for it? Or I'll just get a light version and have less things to it. Because when you see a light version, you just think it has less than the full game.
Right.
This wasn't true. I played through the first 4 years of my company. I was releasing some quite good stuff. I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I hit 4 years, message comes up saying, oh, thanks for playing this light version of Game Dev Story. Please download the full version if you want to continue. So I was like, damn it.
That's
so
not nice.
For 4 years, not real-time years. Game
That's a long demo.
Yeah.
4-year demo.
Have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then I downloaded the full version. I think it's about $129.
Okay, that's not too bad then.
Android and iOS, so everyone can get it.
Yeah.
And then it made me start again. From the
What?
beginning. It didn't even warn me. Like, I had to create a whole new company and start from
that's
scratch.
terrible.
I was like, oh my god.
Okay, that needs looking
so,
at. That definitely needs
if this
looking at.
sounds like the kind of game that you're going to like, then I would suggest just going straight
Just go
in and
ahead,
paying for
yeah.
it. But if you're not sure, of course you can download the light version. But just
well,
be
I mean, I
aware
suppose you
and
can
stuff.
get a kind of idea of what it's like.
Yeah.
But then if you're going to get stopped, you get into it and you don't have to start again.
I
if you've
know,
already gone
it
through
was
that
really,
work.
it was quite frustrating, but I still downloaded the full version, and it's just really fun. And
Fair enough.
there's minimal adverts.
Good.
There's
good.
just some that are just around the edges and stuff. It's
Okay, yeah, not too
nothing
intrusive.
invasive,
Yeah.
no. But yes, that's Game Dev Story. And any questions?
It's right. I heard a thing. It's quite a weird concept of a game developer designing a game about designing a game.
Yeah, it's kind of that whole meta thing. Yeah,
I
a
think they
game
have
within a
whole-
game.
I think I'm not sure. I've forgotten to write down which company made this. Which
Right.
is bad. But I think they have loads of other ones, like making a zoo, making all different kinds of companies.
Yeah.
So it's not just game developers, it's all sorts of stuff, all different things. whatever you'd be interested in. I think they have.
Okay,
Cool.
fair enough.
And it's how much again was it? Sorry?
I think it's 129.
129.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good price.
That
Actually.
is pretty
yeah.
good,
I'd
yeah.
happily pay that. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Margarita. Okay, Dan, what's your second game today?
My second game is called Smarter Than You.
You're not.
It's not you. Just them. No, not you either. Sorry. Smarter Than You is it's basically rock, paper, scissors. But it's got a few slight twists on it that make it a little bit more fun than just a standard game of rock, paper, scissors. So it's an online game where you can battle either friends or random people on Facebook. And rather than the usual rock, paper, scissors symbols, you've got attack, counter-attack, or defend. So you choose one of those three, and I forget which order it goes in, but they all sort of affect each other in the same way that the rock, paper, and scissors would. But the difference here is that you can actually telegraph your moves if you want. So after you've selected your move, you can select from like a selection of words that they give you, a list of words and sentences, and you can say, for example, like, I wouldn't use attack if I were you. So you can kind of mess with the other person a bit.
Throw them off or tell them exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, precisely, yeah. So that kind of brings a really interesting element to it, because some of the things you can say are just completely random as well. Like, I can't remember some of them now, but it's just silly stuff. Like, I like unicorns. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you can really, really mess with people, and that makes it quite fun. But it also, it brings an element of surprise to it, because you never know what the other person's going to do. You can't see their face. There's nothing else that you can see. It's literally just a few sentences. So that can make it really interesting. The whole thing is done with like little avatars, which are sort of weird looking smiley faces. And you can get little adornments for them as well. I think mine's wearing like a little Robin Hood hat at the moment, which you unlock as you get more points, and you can unlock different faces and colour schemes and all that sort of thing. And one of the things you can do, because it's connected to Facebook, is once you've won, or if you're me, lost, you can brag on Facebook about your win afterwards, so you can tell people, so Smarter Than You, it sort of makes sense. The whole game is just, I'm smarter than you are, which isn't necessarily true, because a lot of it is kind of based on a bit of luck. But the great thing is it's completely and utterly free.
Ooh,
there are in-app purchases, but no adverts. Yeah. Or if there are, they're very kind of minimal. They're not in the way. They're very caught up there a bit. I think it
happens
likes
all
you.
the time.
Yeah.
Just headbutt them.
Yeah. It's completely and utterly free. You can buy extra things like adornments for your avatar and new faces and all that sort of little customization stuff. But you can play the game for absolutely nothing if you want to, and it won't affect your gameplay experience. It won't sort of make you a better player because you've paid, which is always something I really like in free games, because it's nice that they try and balance it for those who don't necessarily want to pay for it, which is going to be a lot of people, let's be fair. Only a small percentage of people end up buying these games, and it makes a large amount of profit, but most people don't want to pay for it. That's just the simple fact of it. But it's made by 88 Games. It's on iOS. I'm not actually sure if it's on Android or not, but I think it is. I didn't check that one out beforehand, but I should have done. But it's definitely on Android. Or iOS, rather. Either one of them. It's on some phones or some device. It's on iOS. That's what I play it on. And it's by 88 Games, completely free, and very much worth playing. Very fun for sort of those little 2 minutes when you're bored sitting in a lecture or something, just like, play against someone. So yeah, really weird little nice game.
I just realised we're in a lecture hall, aren't we?
Yeah. Maybe that's where that came from, actually.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good point. Flashbacks from uni. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
No problem.
Okay, what's your second game for us?
Second game is called Don't Tap the White Tiles or Piano Tiles. It has two different names depending on what you download it on.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know
Makes
why.
total sense.
Total
Yep.
sense. Total. And basically, it's exactly as it sounds. Like,
Okay.
you have a piano, like a sideways-looking piano, and there's black tiles and there's white tiles, and as you tap the tiles, it scrolls down to reveal more tiles, and you have to tap all the black ones in order as fast as you can.
Right.
Okay.
And if you tap a white one, it goes bonk, and you lose.
Great sound.
So it's like, it plays, like, I think it's well-known classical songs it plays, because you're tapping them so fast you're not too sure.
Right, you can't really figure out what it is.
What the song is,
it's just a flurry of
it's
notes.
kind of like a nice song that's like, brr,
Yeah,
but
I'm loving your sound effect. That's brilliant. Yeah. I want to make a game just so I can use that sound effect in it when someone messes up.
But yeah, and there's all different modes to it. and you can do a relay mode where it's like every 12 seconds you have to tap 50 tiles.
Wow.
And if you tap the 50 tiles within 12 seconds, it restarts. You have to tap another 50 tiles.
Okay.
And it just keeps on going until you lose.
Good.
And of course, there's the usual classic mode, just do it as fast as you can, and it's your best time.
So by the end of it, you're going to have a destroyed screen.
Yeah, you just
Just giant cracks all over it. Yeah. It was brilliant.
yeah, finger padding.
Yeah, finger padding. Maybe that's a product
Or use one of
idea.
those pen things like what I have here.
Yeah,
That
very
would
clever.
work.
There you go.
That fast with that.
Oh, no, you see, I can see myself using that, and then it just ends up going right through the thing.
Yeah, okay, maybe not use one of those.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But yeah, it's really fun, and it's good if you just want a quick pastime. Like, you don't want to get highly involved in anything, nothing that's going to grab your attention too much.
Okay.
Just something to quickly try and beat a high score, and if you like rub it in other people's face, like, yeah, I did 9 seconds. What did you do in 8.5? But yeah, there is some kind of... Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, that went well. I was just going to ask, is it like, so it's completely time-based? It's not like points, or it's just how quick you do
It's
it?
basically how quick you do it.
Right, okay.
Yeah. There might be some points-based levels. I haven't really tried out all the modes yet.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole
So there's a lot to do then.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different modes you can do. I think there might even be a 2-player. I don't know
wow.
I've
I wonder
never
how
tried
that
it.
works.
I don't have friends,
Ooh.
so I don't know how that would work.
I don't have a friend. Oh, poor Mark.
But I do have friends, they just don't play with me.
Oh.
Anyway, there is one kind of thing that I found quite annoying, which is you can only tap it so fast. So once you get your high score, that's your high score, unless you become like Super Saiyan and stuff.
Right.
But when you reach a certain number, you're never going to beat it, kind of thing.
Right, okay.
So it's really hard to beat your high score, and eventually the appeal just wears thin, and it's
Yeah.
just like, I can't bother playing.
See, that's kind of one of the things I like about like the Angry Birds kind of model of. I mean, I don't know if Angry Birds was the first one to do it necessarily, but everyone knows Angry Birds, so it's easier to say that.
Yeah.
But where it's got like the 3 stars, and once you get past the certain point limit, then it's like, okay, you've got 2 stars. If you try and get a little bit more, you get 3. So I think that kind of really works for a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
So once you've got that 3rd star, it's like, okay, that level's done now.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of not based on your limitations as a human being at the same time.
Whereas this totally is.
Yeah.
Like, unless you finger trace or something,
exactly, yeah.
you're not going to do it. And you can get cramped quite easily. Like, I'm very double jointed in my fingers.
And you still get
I become claws. It's like, it really starts to like pain a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun. It's fun for a while until you feel like,
Until
So
your
it's kind of-
fingernails going to come down, right?
and you can't quite get your hands out of this position.
Yeah, that's never good, is it?
No,
So there's kind of a limit on how much you can play it.
Is
as
that
well.
frustration, or is it from just tapping?
Just having your
my
hands
hands freeze like that sometimes.
Oh, really?
If I'm playing games too much, I get like claw hands.
No, I can totally. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd definitely like Street Fighter. Like if I'm ever playing Street Fighter, I'm always doing the crab hand thing where I hold the controller like that. So yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah,
Racing
that
games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I end up getting
Yeah.
a crick in the neck because I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, but like it can get addictive. It can be like I'm gonna beat my high score.
Yeah.
But like once you play through the modes and you've got the highest of high scores you're gonna get, it wears thin. But the good thing is it's free.
Oh, awesome.
Yay.
So even if you don't like the game, if you play it through it too quick,
Yeah, you've not lost.
you've not
anything,
lost anything.
yeah.
You just
Except
delete
time.
it. Get about 300 kilobytes of space left. It's not a big game at all, so it's not
Yeah,
gonna
I
take
can
any
imagine,
kind
yeah.
of memory in your phone or your tablet, whatever you're gonna use it on. So yeah,
Cool.
Sounds
So
really awesome.
don't tap the white tiles / piano tiles.
yeah.
Right.
For some reason, it has 2
I
names.
don't know why.
On Android, it's called Don't Tap the White Tiles. On iOS, it's called Piano Tiles.
But then even on like I've noticed this weird thing with Android and iOS where you'll download the game in the store and it has one name, and then
you
on the
download-
icon it's
Oh,
a different
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't
know.
understand
We'll
either.
have to have a word with the
But
marketing
you know,
team.
it happens.
Yeah.
And we have to just deal with these things.
Well, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. We do what we can for
Yeah.
you.
At least we let you know of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Magarita.
That's okay.
Thank you for watching this episode of Go Download It. If you missed the last video, you can catch it here.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
And follow us on Twitter.
Bye-bye.
Bye!